4 signs that you're dating someone who has an avoidant attachment style. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Mind Council. My name is Sunsubi and today I'm going to be running down 4 signs that you are dating someone who is an avoidant attachment style. In my last video, I spoke about people who are an avoidant attachment, exactly what makes them that way, and the signs of someone who is an avoidant. So you can check out that video just by following the link right here. But today I'm going to run down, if you think you are dating someone who has an avoidant attachment style, exactly what signs you need to look for and how you can pick up on it. So the first sign that you are dating someone with an avoidant attachment style is they like things to be their way. Now, as I've mentioned in my previous video, people who have an avoidant attachment style also seem to be very arrogant, narcissistic. They are a lot more self-absorbed than people who fall into the other styles. They will usually use manipulative tactics to get their partners to do what they want. And a lot of these manipulative tactics tend to be more passive tactics. And what do I mean by passive tactics? So the silent treatment, vanishing on you, ghosting you, just tending to ignore you if you're having a disagreement on something, just completely checking out. The reason that they do this is because they know that being ignored and just completely removing themselves from a situation is more likely to make the person that they are dating or married to in a relationship with panic. And when this person starts to panic, they're going to be thinking in their mind, what have I done wrong? Why have they gone silent on me? Why are they ignoring me? And it's really going to have an emotional effect on them, a deep emotional effect on them. And someone who is an avoidant attachment style has no problem with kind of giving silence, running away, or just avoiding in general the person that they are with when they want something from them or they want to control a situation in a specific way, especially when there's a disagreement. And that's the reason, because that they enjoy their alone time. They're not very emotionally bonded to a lot of people, so for them being alone and walking away is actually pretty simple. And eventually they will come back, but they're not going to struggle with it as much as somebody who doesn't have an avoidant attachment style in relationships. The second sign that you are dating someone with an avoidant attachment style is they blow hot and cold. Now, there's many reasons why people blow hot and cold, but if this sign matches with the other signs that I'm explaining in this video, now there's many reasons why people blow hot and cold, but if this sign matches with other signs I'm mentioning in this video, then it's very likely that you are dating someone with an avoidant attachment style. And the reason that they blow hot and cold is because, as I've mentioned in my previous video, in their experience, being close to someone has negative connotations. So if they've expressed their emotions or they've become close to someone, they've been seen to be weak by doing this, maybe by a parent or a caregiver or by friends. And because of this negative association, they will want to sometimes express their feelings because it's naturally how they feel. But then once they do that, they're going to run away and then start becoming colder to try and reestablish the balance in their mind about how much they've given. And if they feel like they've shown themselves as being too vulnerable with somebody else. To them, being self-sufficient is the most important thing. They don't want to be seen as weak, and this is one of the main reasons that they avoid showing their vulnerability to another person. So every time they feel like they've shown a vulnerability, they're going to pull back and show that they are actually self-sufficient, not only to themselves but to the other person. And they also want to show you that they don't really need you that much, and this may in your mind feel like, well, why would they want to do that? It's because in their mind, if they need somebody too much, again, this comes down to a weakness. So this is why they want to show you, I don't really need you that much and I'm okay on my own. And it's not a malicious reason, it's just because they don't want to be perceived as being weak for showing this. And this leads me on to my third sign, which is they care about you, but they won't show their emotions. So just like how they play hot and cold, and maybe they've been very nice to you, and maybe they've, said something, that, oh, I really like you, I really care about you, and it's slipped out of their mouth. And even though they mean it, now they feel like they need to back off because they've shown too much vulnerability. You're probably not going to hear a lot of I love yous. Even if they are showing you with their actions that they care about you, they're probably not going to tell you that they care about you. And like I said before, the reason is because they've been told by showing their emotions this way that it's a sign of weakness. They don't want to put themselves up for rejection. They don't want to put themselves up for the possible pain of being hurt. And they don't want to open themselves up if they feel like the other person doesn't care about them as much as they care about this person. All in all, they just have a very negative relationship between their emotions, expressing their emotions, bonding with other people, and being vulnerable in general. They like to have this image of being self-sufficient. And this image, not more than for other people, is more likely for themselves in their own mind. They have a perception of how they want to behave. And if they behave any other way than that, they're not going to be happy with themselves. Now, I must point out over here, a lot of times some people will play games and do things like this as well. But what I'm talking about, if you see all of these signs in one person, then it's less likely that they are playing games, and it's more likely that they just are an avoidant person. And that was my cat's ears in the video before anyone asks. And my final sign that someone is an avoidant attachment style is that they do not have a lot of friends, close friends, but they have more acquaintanceships. So they are not going to be someone who is close to a lot of people in their lives. They might have a lot of acquaintances, so people that they kind of meet every now and then, but they don't really have any long-term friendships in their lives. So they don't really have friendships that have lasted years and years and years, and I'm talking like 5-10 years plus. The most that they're gonna have is maybe they have like a work relationship with somebody, or they sometimes hang out but usually they don't, and they spend a lot of time alone. They look at relationships, especially relationships as friendships, as more of a transitory thing, and they're not really going to get into a relationship with anyone, whether it's romantic or a friendly relationship, unless they feel like there is something in that relationship that will benefit them in the long term. So these people will tend to be quite lonely, but they're not really going to reach out for support or love. They might express feelings of loneliness, but they're not really going to do anything about it to change it. And they're going to take a lot of time where it's like they've spent a day or two with somebody and they're going to take a week just to recoup from that 1 or 2 days or that couple of hours. They're probably not even going to be very close to their own family. So they could have a very large family or a very small family, but they're not going to be very close to the members of their family, whether it's their parents, whether it's their brothers and sisters. They're just not going to be that close with them. And they probably will see them every now and then, special occasions here and there, but in terms of a deep, meaningful relationship, that's not going to be present. And this comes back to everything that I was talking about before, about them not bonding very deeply with somebody, them not really feeling that they need to have these kind of relationships, even though they do, even though they could be very lonely, but they see relationships that are deeply bonded as weaknesses, and because of this, they're not going to develop a lot of deeply bonded relationships. And some of these people will have, had relationships in the past that have lasted a couple of years, maybe 10, plus years, maybe they've been married before. But even in these marriages and relationships, they weren't 100% present, they weren't 100% emotionally invested, and when they walked away, even though they may have been hurt, they're not really going to express that hurt because, again, they're not very expressive on their emotions. And that's another thing that you can actually look out for, is someone who's not very expressive. If they've gone through a loss, like someone in the family has died, or they've lost a job or something, and they've just kind of shut down and isolated and gone within themselves, and they're not really talking about things, and they don't really want to discuss anything with anyone or be open about it. Usually it's because they have that avoidant attachment style and they're not used to behaving this way. These are my signs about an avoidant attachment style, and whether or not you are in a relationship with somebody who has this style, or whether you are dating someone who has this style, or maybe you are the person who has this style and someone else is dating you. And I'll tell you now, if you have another style of attachment, maybe you're a secure attachment style, maybe you're more of a needy person, you're really going to struggle with somebody if you are dating somebody with this attachment style, because they're not going to give you as much as someone else who falls into your attachment style will. So it actually really helps to kind of pinpoint the kind of person that you are friends with or in a relationship with, and what kind of attachment style they have, if you really want to have a successful relationship in the long term. And I will be actually making a video on how you can have successful relationships with people in the various attachment styles, so keep an eye out for that. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Mind Counsel channel, and thank you very much.